You're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup with me, Paul Brophy.
And me, Roisin Chleirigh.
And Roisin, we're joined by Fine Gael TD for Carlow Kilkenny, Catherine Callaghan. Catherine, it's been a while since we spoke. You've been a TD since early December. I suppose 1st of December you were officially elected to the Dail. It's nearly 7 months. How have things been over that period of time?
It's been a massive learning curve, but it's been such a privilege, and I'm really enjoying the experience. I'm really enjoying the role. Yeah, as I say, it is a challenge, but it's the kind of small wins that keep you going, and it's the opportunity we have to help regular normal people. Like I was a regular normal person, and I still am. I'm very attached to my community, but I suppose it's been lovely to develop that same relationship with people outside of my immediate community, and in fact all across Carlow and all across Kilkenny as well, right down as far as Ferrybank, almost in County Waterford. So it's such a privilege and an honour, and I'm still feeling that. And even though you might think after 7 months actually you're used to it now, but every Tuesday morning when I drive in that gate in Leinster House, I'm like, I can't believe that this is where I get to work, even though a lot of my work of course is done on Saturday and Sunday. My PA was saying to me today, now you need to take the 20th off. You haven't had a day off in 15 days. And I thought, but my daughter's having a birthday party on the 20th, so I won't be taking that day off either. It'll be a fun. And it doesn't feel like work. I actually would need somebody to say to me, you've been working for 15 days straight, because the simplest way for me to say it is it doesn't feel like work. It's a pure privilege.
And we were also talking to your colleague, Councillor Pat Dunphy, and he was saying that you even go down to Mooncoin, and that they really appreciate you coming all the way from Carlow all the way down to South Kilkenny.
Oh, sure. Look, that's my role, my job. I have such an affinity for the councillors across Kilkenny. They really are wonderful people. And I know if they ask me, can you please come, I will go with a heart and a half. And I will support them, because I know that they are the voice of their communities. And I mightn't have time to get around to every single individual household all across Carlow and all across Kilkenny. But the next best thing to doing that is making sure that I am there with the councillors that do have the opportunity to go around and knock on every single door and be in every single household across their municipal districts, which they represent really well.
And Deputy Catherine Callaghan, you were a former SNA before you took up your role as a Deputy and TD here in Leinster House. You've also really brought that background into your role straight away. You were very vocal about people living with disabilities, people living with autism, and anyone with the 4Ds, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, and dysgraphia. So you've really brought that expertise into the Dail chamber.
Yeah, and that was, I suppose, part of the essence of myself, and part of what I said when I was asking people to put their trust in me and to vote for me, was that I'm just a regular, normal, grassroots type of a person. And it's really important that regular, normal, grassroots experience is reflected in the chamber. One of the reasons I wanted to stand for the Dail was that I didn't see regular, normal, grassroots people like me in the chamber, people who had worked as SNAs. I was the first ever SNA elected to Dáil Éireann. People who worked as I wouldn't even say work, but I was a family carer, so that kind of lived experience where you're really like rubbing up against the raw humanity of another really helps you to understand what it means to struggle in this world. And I think it's really important that our national Dáil has the voice of somebody who understands what it is to struggle in life, what it is to worry about where the cost of groceries are coming. I know it's often levelled at politicians that we live in some sort of a bubble that don't understand or worry about the cost increases in our groceries. Like, I'm acutely aware of that. I know exactly. I even say it to my children and my husband when we're in shopping. I can remember, I remember that being 50 cent less, and it's not that long ago. The price of milk has gone through the roof, the price of bread, the price of butter, don't get me started. Oh my goodness. And I know in Ireland we're very lucky to have really good top quality products, and our the food that we find on our shelves is really good, like, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle for a lot of people,
Yes.
and I'm aware of that.
€5 for something for a pound of butter.
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah.
Kerry Gold. I know,
Half a
I
pound
know.
of butter.
Yeah, I know.
Half a pound of butter.
Well, I have.
And it's made here in Ireland.
Yeah, I know exactly, Roisin.
And we're standing outside, and Paul and I only noticed
Yeah,
this,
you only
the
spotted
Guaranteed
it.
Irish office
Yeah.
here, and we only noticed that this morning. And we've
There you
been,
go.
I've been talking about buying guaranteed and the 80s,
Mm.
1980s campaign of,
Mm.
because I was at school in County Kildare, the Guaranteed Irish, buying Guaranteed Irish. Should we go back to that, or should the Fine Gael bring a campaign of going back to supporting your local producers, supporting your local businesses?
Yeah, I think that Fine Gael have been very vocal in that, in making sure that we support Indigenous industries and local producers. And I know even as part of that, even in Carlow, there's a very strong campaign about shop local, shop Carlow, made in Carlow. Just like we have Guaranteed Ireland, make sure our Irish, make sure it's made in Ireland when you're purchasing it. I think. And another thing that's getting really good work by Carlow County Council is the circular economy
Okay.
and reduce, reuse, and recycle. And that helps us then to invest in, have a greater awareness, I should say, of where we're spending our money, and understand as well that if you spend the money in a local shop on local products, that you are supporting you're supporting the local economy, but you're also keeping jobs local. And I think that that's really, really important. And I would like to see that continue to be a feature in the upcoming budget as
And
well.
it's also a way of supporting local businesses, supporting the local economy, but most importantly, supporting local jobs. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's the students, but more importantly, it's also supporting mothers who are working in in between school hours from maybe 10 to
Yes.
2 or 3. So when they come back, the children are they're home for their children.
Yes, absolutely, and that's really, really, really important, because you're getting that life. I'm sorry now, I got a tiny bit distracted there by the protests in the background, but you're supporting. I think if I understand you correctly, then it's also about supporting that work-life balance, home life, and you're hitting an awful lot of, or ticking an awful lot of boxes in that. You're supporting local, you're keeping local jobs, you're ensuring that people who are at home looking after children, that they're also having that opportunity to be out and about in the community, getting that balance, but still having time to be at home with their children, with their family.
And Deputy Catherine Callaghan, you are a former Defence Force veteran.
Correct.
And you're very, very proud of that, like all veterans are. You've served your country very proudly with dignity, honour and respect. Now you're up here at Dail Éireann. You also have brought, as we mentioned earlier, you brought the SNA, you brought in the carers, but you have never forgotten the Defence Force members.
No, and I never, ever, ever will. Being part of the Defence Force, the Irish Defence Forces, serving in the Air Corps, serving overseas in the Lebanon, has been, I suppose, a core part of forming me into the person that I am. And as I stand here, my former aircraft apprentices, the class that I joined in the 90s, I have them up on a visit today. Yeah, so I left them to come out here and speak to yourselves, but I love them. And for somebody like, I mean, it's self-evident I'm a woman, but I don't have any brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was the youngest of 3 girls, still am, thank God, the youngest of 3 girls. And so I joined the Defence Forces as a 17-year-old young girl, the only girl in a class of 30. So there was me and 29 17-year-old boys. You can imagine my poor mother. And I can hand on heart say, we still have a WhatsApp, the 30 of us, WhatsApp group, and we're in communication all the time. We make sure that we meet up once a year. And I know if I ever had any kind of a difficulty, I could just say it to the lads and they would come running, and likewise me for them. Because when you have that kind of shared experience that I think only you can get in the Defence Forces, only when you're in it can you truly understand the value of it. I'm on the Defence Committee as well, and the Defence and National Security Committee, and in all of the appearances that I've had in the committee so far, and any of the witnesses that we've had in with us, like we've had the representative organisations, we've had the Minister Thomas Byrne in as well, and we've had several people in groups in talking to us. And what I always bring it back to is it is wonderful to see the investment that is happening in our defence forces. It is absolutely wonderful, and I'm delighted to see that. But what I would like to see is I would like to see us get as excited about investing in our personnel as we are in our equipment. So my questioning has been consistent. My question has been this: what are we doing in terms of recruitment? What are we doing to ensure retention, that we hold on to the really valuable personnel that we currently have? And then finally, on the other side of it, then what are we doing to look after our veterans? Because to me, and it's on the record several times, I have said we can spend as much money as we like on equipment, on aircraft, on facilities, which is very welcome and very important. But if we don't invest in our personnel, then all of this is for nothing, because personnel is the key to it. They are the core drivers of ensuring that we have an effective, efficient defence forces, and that will always be, and that will be my thing. That will be my thing in the Defence Committee, to ensure that our personnel, recruitment, retention, and veterans are looked after.
And when you think about how well, recently, last week, the Defence Forces and the Ranger,
Army Ranger Wing.
Armour Ranging Wing, the Armour Ranger Wing were just so in the news of how they are fighting, not just defending Ireland and protecting the citizens and our UN work, but they are fighting the war against drugs as well.
Yeah, they're just like, I think, and I've said this in one of the committees as well, that I think there is definitely an educational piece that would be worth exploring, because I think an awful lot of people and it's not that they're disinterested, but they mightn't have a full awareness of what our defence forces actually do and the value of the service that they provide. And it is service. They get up every morning, they put the uniform on, and they commit to serving our country. They sign an oath of allegiance to our country. I have signed that oath of allegiance. I know at 17 years of age, going, oh, okay, I'm signing this, but with a heart and a half. You serve your country, and everyone that's currently serving in the defence forces, that's what they're doing. They get up every morning and they make a conscious decision that today I'm serving my country. And I don't think that is recognised well enough. I don't think it's appreciated well enough, and I don't think we sing about it enough. I don't think we are vocal enough about that.
Yeah.
They don't just get up and put the uniform on with the flag on the left because it's closest to the heart. They also go on parade every morning and they salute the flag.
100%.
But in doing that too, representing the country, they also have sworn oath to defend the country, but also protect the citizens.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the core function, the core value of it is to defend. It is to protect. And I know there's an awful, and you might want to get into this conversation, there's an awful lot of talk about the triple lock and preserving the triple lock, but there's an awful lot of misunderstanding about that as well. It isn't going to do anything to our neutrality. It isn't going to affect it in any way, but it is our soldiers are there to protect. And our national security. I think people worry that if we're investing, some people worry that if we're investing so heavily or removing the triple lock, that it's because we want to, go on a war footing and that we're going to be sending our troops abroad to fight. But it's not that. It is as much to ensure that when our troops do go abroad, that they have sufficient support, because 12 going abroad at the moment, it isn't enough even from a well-being perspective to ensure that people have enough, that serving soldiers on a detail have enough to cover the other members of the detail having a rest period even, So So
There's
it
a lot
is.
of ambiguity over the triple lock.
Yeah, there
And
is.
I don't even understand the triple lock.
Okay. Well, the
I
triple
think-
lock
yeah.
is that the triple lock, and I actually have moved away from even. I know I've said the triple lock there, but I've moved away from that. What it is the requirement for the Irish Defence Forces and actually the Irish state to request permission from the Permanent Five, from China, the US, UK, France, and did I say the US? No, and Russia. Those five to put our hand up and say, can we please have permission to send more than 12 troops abroad on a mission? Now, this is really important. On a mission that is still in line with the principles of the UN Charter. So we're not moving away from the United Nations, and has to be in accordance with international law as well. So the triple lock is us needing to the Irish state needing to ask permission from the Permanent Five members of the UN Security Council. That's what it is. So if we're getting rid of the triple lock, we're getting rid of the need for us to ask for permission. And in my view, it is ensuring that we have autonomy, and it helps with our own sovereignty. The question about neutrality is a separate question. And in order, and just to allay anyone's fears, if Ireland, if there was ever a question about our neutrality, it would go to a referendum. But the triple lock isn't going to go to a referendum because it is primary legislation, and primary legislation is decided by the lawmakers in Dáil.
And so an awful lot of people are asking, as you mentioned earlier, if the triple lock our defence forces will be sent to frontline war. Is that a misconception? Or
That's a misconception, yeah. That's a
so they
misconception.
won't be sent to like the frontline war on Ukraine or anywhere like
They
that?
will be they it will any mission, and we need to trust our defence forces. Any mission that our troops will be sent on will be investigated fully by all of our military not military commanders, but our military advisors, and our, military personnel on the high echelons of the Defence Forces, and then the Department of Defence as well. And then it goes to the Taoiseach, or the Taoiseach, I should say, the Minister for Defence, and then it will come to the Dáil as well. So it goes to the Cabinet, and it comes to the Dáil for a decision on that. And as I said, it has to be in line with international law. And this is about peacekeepers as well. I should have said that from the very start. I beg your pardon. So it's about peacekeeping. It's about allowing more than 12 people to go abroad at any one time on a peacekeeping mission. It's on a peacekeeping mission. That was a really, really important point. That in my head was a given, but of course it's not a given to lots of people. But it's about a peacekeeping mission. So it has to be in line with the principles of the UN Charter, and it has to be in line with international law.
Well, Deputy Callaghan, we've asked all the TDs from Carlow Kilkenny, and actually senators as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
to actually look to the camera and send a message to our men and women in the Defence Forces in Camp Shamrock, a message.
Macorja. I am so proud to have been considered in the same sentence as the men and women that are currently serving in Camp Shamrock. You are doing a brilliant service to this country. You are known far and wide across the United Nations, across international militaries as well, for the quality of your service, to the dedication and the commitment you provide. And let's not forget the valuable security that you are providing to the citizens of Southern Lebanon. So, Muila Buika Steve Galair, and thank you so much for your service.
And thank you, Deputy Catherine Callaghan, for taking the time to speak to the Irish Political Roundup.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Roisin, and thank you very
You're
much,
very
Paul.
welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you, the listeners, for taking time to listen and to watch the Irish Political Roundup.
Goodbye for now.